This podcast is brought to you by Martin Kearns and the Valor of Valhalla series. In the battle between two ancient evils, can one naive young man become the last hope against powerful creatures of legend? Beneath the Veil is the gripping first book in the Valor of Valhalla dark urban fantasy series. If you like reluctant heroes, infernal myths, and bloody epic clashes, then you'll love Martin Kearns' formidable foray into the unknown. So head on over to readkearns.com and grab yourself a copy of Beneath the Veil today. Hello guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of Stories, the True and the Fictional. We have an exciting returning guest, a returning guest from many years ago, to the point that Ryan forgot who they were, and I went back to, have a little bit of a listen, and I was like, wow, this is before we actually did video, so old school. But before we bring him in, you know the deal. Ryan, are you still living the dream?
I am living the dream. It's been a massive 24 hours. I had zero sleep overnight last night. Actually, an hour and a half, so I shouldn't tell a lie. And then I've been up in Newcastle all day, visiting my dad in the hospital. And I got home about 45 minutes ago. So I had to quickly put something together for dinner. And now I'm here live. So today's been a bit of a blur. But I am definitely, in fact, living the dream still. Not much has changed since Sunday. 3 days ago, I can't remember. But the only thing I will mention is, and yes, it is horror related, that the movie Good Boy, which was the horror movie from the perspective of the dog, has broken the universe because Indy the dog has become the first non-human to win Best Leading Actor in a Horror Movie at the AFTRA Awards, beating out Ethan Hawke and a few other horror alumni. But congratulations to Indy. It's a well-deserved win. It's a very good movie. So yeah, and hopefully he'll continue on and take home an Oscar.
Now, did he give a speech? Did he give a speech for the award?
I didn't see the actual awards, but I'm assuming there is several photos online of him with the awards next to him, and he's looking very chuffed, very happy that he won the award. I think maybe it came with a lifetime supply of kibble. Very well-deserved movie because that dog is the main character of that movie and shows more emotion than some humans do in movies. So,
reminds me of this old joke, which you'll probably roll your eyes at. But it was this guy who walks into a bar with his dog, and the dog sits up on the stool next to him, and the barkeep's like, no dogs. And he's like, oh, but my dog can talk. He's like, all right, if your dog talks, he can stay. And then he's like, all right, okay, boy, what's on top of the house? He goes, woof, woof. And then the bartender kicks him out, and then the dog looks up at him and says, did I get it right? There you go. Dad joke for the day. Anyway, guys, remember to check out our sponsors, Rebecca Kearsells and Martin Kearns, and our honorary sponsors who won the Best Cover Award for our Kearsells Yearly Book Awards, and Best Read. So that's Janelle Schiecke for The Clatterman and Alexander Robb for The Land of the Ill-Imagined. Be sure to check them out. All their links are down below. But now, let's get the ball rolling. Welcome back, James Fouche. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did. It depends where you live. But yes, it is supposed to be of French origin, so it is supposed to be Fouche. However, I have had Fauci, which is, I think, mostly people from America. But locally, I've also had Fouki and Fouch and all types of things. So I'm very happy as long as you call me James, just not Jimbo.
What about Jimmy? No.
No, please, no, Jimmy. I specifically didn't mention Jimmy.
That's all right. I get that all. I used to get this all the time because my legal name is James as well. So anytime I have a job, I have to fill it out, and everyone calls me James. But anytime a delivery, someone would rock up, and it would only be Asian people that would do this. And then they'd ask for my name, and then I'd go James, and they go, "Oh, James Bond." Like they'd all go, "Oh, James Bond." I'm just like, okay, I'm not British, but sure.
Yeah.
Love
They
it.
just don't like you at all. That's why they like to say that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Anyway, look, it's been a long time since you've been on. We've got a whole new lot of subscribers and listeners. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about yourself? I usually say, who is James Fouche? Fouche.
Who I am? Oh, that again, that varies who you ask. But I'll give you the neatest, cleanest version of myself. I'm a South African crime novelist, but I'm also a wine journalist and travel writer who has played around with parenting columns as well. Specifically in Australia, actually, I was writing for Fab Dad a while ago, which was quite funny. It was meant to be read by dads, and it actually got ladies reading it, which was good, I guess. So yeah, but I've now just finished my third book, and it's my return to the writing world after a 10-year hiatus. Um, During that time, it was just basically babies and nappies and all types of things. So I made the conscious decision to step back for 10 years to focus on my private life, um, and to be a present dad, which I think is nowadays a challenging concept. I think it's about time that we challenge that. But yeah, so I took the 10 years to just focus on that. And now I'm back finally with my third novel, and it is called Grey.
Awesome. We are going to talk about that a little bit later, but we do icebreakers on this wonderful podcast, and because you're back, you get new icebreakers. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Ryan, how are you feeling, buddy? Do you want to go first, or do you want to go second?
Yeah, let me have a look at the questions. I'll go second.
Oh, you go second. Okay.
Mhm.
We'll start off with with an easy one. Hopefully, an easy one. What is your least favorite trope in any form of storytelling?
There are so many. There are some really successful tropes, I think, that I think many writers still use today. In fact, I pity writers who don't call on those successful ones when it
Mm.
comes to characterization and theme development. But I think the least favorite one has got to be the same for everybody: running up the steps when you should be running out the front door. For me, like, I mean, I remember as a kid watching horror movies, like I just don't get it. Um, every little bit about human reasoning would tell me that you would run down
Outside.
and
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
not up the steps. Like
Yeah.
I just don't get it. And I think that's something that's been, yeah, it's just been one of those things. Also, the classic horror towel boob drop,
Yeah.
that whole thing. It's just those are things in movies that I would really say is not, it just doesn't work. If you're specifically talking about writing, I think there are tons of little tropes that have always. I think a writer can use anything to its advantage. So even if it's the most annoying trope, even if it's used effectively, it can still benefit the story. But in movies, you've just got
Yeah.
to be very careful with those things, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. As a horror aficionado myself, I find myself quite often just yelling at the screen and just thinking, you're such an idiot. Why are you running up the stairs where you've got clearly got no way of getting out of the house
Yeah.
without falling 2 stories when you could have just run out the front door? It's just ridiculous. It's just bad story writing. And yes, I understand you need to get the movie to go to a certain length, but come on, there's better things you can do than that.
Yeah. It goes the same with.
Absolutely. I think.
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry, I was just saying what Ryan said now. I was just thinking the same thing, and I would go even say it's not even bad story writing. I would say it's lazy story writing.
Mm.
I think that's essentially what a trope is. You're lazy to explore alternatives. So you're going for what is common and what is used. Um, it's an easy out. It's an easy cop out. Why not
Yeah.
run into the garage and close the garage? Now, firstly, there's a new area to explore. You've got loads of things in the garage that can be weapons. Suddenly, the story becomes so much more complex. I think that's why you can make a movie like Hollow Man. That's basically the whole thing was made at the in a bottom level in a research center, and that's where it basically plays off the whole time. Why could they make that an effective horror film, or well, borderline horror, I guess? But I mean, why was it so successful? Well, I think it was successful because they didn't, even if when they used tropes, they played very carefully and they explore alternatives to keep the scene going. So it's not lazy writing. So yeah,
Yep.
I agree with
100%.
Riley.
Yeah, 100%. It's just, I mean, the amount of especially indie horror films that I've watched over the last, 10 years, and those stories are so much so much more well written than half of the main studios horror movies because they, they explore different options, explore different scenarios, and they don't just go for the typical. We're stuck in a house. Let's run up the stairs and trap the victims in an area where they can't get out of without going through some serious harm. I agree with the whole garage thing. There's so many things there that you could explore, and like they obviously mostly in the garage. You have tools, storage and stuff like. There's lots of things you can use to escape the killer. But yeah, let's run upstairs and get trapped in a bedroom or something.
Cool. All right, Ryan. Number 2.
All right. Question number 2. If you could have a talking animal sidekick, what would you pick? And bonus points if you can give us, like, maybe an actor's voice that you would like to have, if that's something that you want to do.
I'm going to be slightly biased here. I had something else in mind before we started this, but right now I'm sort of buying into the idea of that being rather indie, the dog, and having a talking version of him. So yeah, you've absolutely changed my mind. I would be intrigued to have Indy be my little sidekick. Voice though, I don't know. I like, especially when it comes to voices, I like the voices of old. Those old wise voices like Anthony Hopkins or there's so many classic voices that I would have gotten. But I would go with something a little bit more squeaky and annoying. If like, I don't know, it needs to be a untrusty sidekick. So Ricky Gervais probably.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I love Ricky Gervais. I think his voice would be absolutely hilarious as an animal sidekick.
So what are you doing taking me to the vet again? This bloody vet. Yeah, I like it.
I only have 2 of them. You can't take them both.
Awesome. All right, number 3. So you are the king, queen, supreme leader, president for a day. What do you do? And we do encourage selfishness here.
Selfishness. So that's a very difficult ask at the moment because I'm very much disinclined to discuss politics and things like that. I always steer clear of it unless I'm able to throw a spanner in the works and at least enable people to consider things or at least apply some form of reasoning or critical thought. Otherwise, I just steer clear of it.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely going to steer away from like any political narrative there because at the moment it's quite a, I'm not sure if I can swear, but it's a bit of a show at the moment, and it's not a good show. So I would say if I was a supreme leader or president of the day, I would certainly. I watched an interesting movie the other day called Genie which is like a retelling of Aladdin, I guess, with a very brilliant actor. I don't know who the guy was, a British actor. I think he's
Oh,
British.
that wasn't the one with
And
Idris Elba?
it wasn't Idris Elba, but it was someone that's like a younger version of him, I guess. But a genie, the genie that is sort of like rubbed out of this little box is Jennifer McCarthy, who can be quite crass at times. But the narrative behind it was every possible moment this guy gets given the chance to make a wish. It's never selfish. He is absolutely incapable of making selfish decisions, which I found very ironic. And at the end of the movie, my wife and I we sat discussing, and my wife leans over and says, "You know, that's you, right?" So, "Oh, come on now, I'll get a car, I'll get a mansion for all my kids with all their kids, and I'm just nailing into it what I'll do." She says, "No, you won't." So it's quite a conundrum that. I would points for selfishness. I would buy every possible range of Subaru since they've started. I'm a bit of a classic car buff,
All right.
and I know Subaru's got a little bit of it's got a cult following for those who like touring cars or off-road cars. I would have a collection of all the possible Subarus that came out from day one. Just an
Okay.
immaculate version of every single model that they've had, just for the sake of it.
Yeah, I like that. I think that is definitely a good. I like those answers because that's something that you really like, and if you had the ability to do it, you would get it. And that's the kind of answers we're going for. We don't want people wishing for world peace or ending cruelty to everyone, which is very noble, but we're all about the selfishness. So I can appreciate that answer.
Damn it, I was just about to say world peace. You got me there.
Okay. Question number 4, and I really like this question, which is why I wanted to ask it. What book or story would you like to see adapted into a film? Bonus points for picking director and leading actors or actresses.
Um, there are a couple, and the dilemma with that is the one that I would probably love. I would like to have a series be made
Mhm.
of. I'm a big fan of James Lee Burke and the Robichaux novels. So there has one been already adapted. So that's a tricky thing. Um, so I, I I find it absolutely impossible to read a book by James Lee Burke where Detective Robichaux is one of the characters and not hearing Alec Baldwin's voice as I'm reading this book. It's absolutely insane. I cannot shake it. It's like every possible scene I'm playing off in my mind. Um, I've got him coming back the whole time. So, picking an actor is such an important part.
Yep.
My honest answer would almost have been to say that I would love for them to make the whole series.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it's already been adapted, so it makes it very, very difficult to say that. What I would venture to say is I would love to see a movie version of The City and the City. I know there was a TV series version of it. BBC made something like that. I would honestly like to see a high stakes, full, properly budgeted remake of The City and the City. As far as actors are concerned, I think there's a lot of actors that are like. I mean, I particularly love like Andrew Garfield at the moment. He's got a lot of range lately that he's pulling out. Like I mean, there was a time that he was doing a lot of romance movies, and then there was one that he did long time ago, Under the Salt Sea or something like that. It's a quite
Yeah,
a
I
quite an
think I
old
know
movie
the
that he
one.
made. And I distinctly remember he had a lot of range back then. And then even having gone into Spider-Man, he showed some he's got a lot of he's very versatile to use,
Yeah.
as an actor, sort of push him around through the paces. But I would like to see him perform in City and the City. I don't know if you've ever read the book, but it's absolutely stunning, brilliant book. It's one of my favorite books. Yeah, and it challenges so many narratives. I would love to see that in a proper form. 2-hour movie would be great.
Okay.
Awesome. Yeah, I love Andrew Garfield. He's one of my all-time favorites. And yeah, and he filmed a movie 20 minutes from where I live. So, you know.
Oh, sorry, just one more thing. I see also the director. You asked about the director.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I'm a very big Fincher fan. I always have been. I would have David Kep do the screenplay. I would have David Fincher directed. So Kep and Fincher has worked before on the Jodie Foster movie where she was kept in the house, hostage.
Panic Room.
Panic Room. Yes, Panic Room. So, I mean, what a stylish film. Oh my goodness. And writing the house as a character was stunning. So, I would love for the two of them to work together on that. That will be very interesting.
Awesome.
Okay. I haven't heard or read the book, but that cast and director and and writer combination has got me interested. So I'd 100% be on board to see that.
So if you want to be interested, imagine a book where there are two cities occupying the same space, and the occupants of the one city is taught from a young age to unsee what they see on the other side of the road. So one side of the road is one city, the other side is another city. You cannot see what happens there, even if it's life or death. You cannot see it, and you cannot cross over because you'll be taken out. The only way to go from the one city to the other city is through immigration processes. So you occupy the same space, but you're completely two different cities. Then a murderer from the one city goes through immigration with a body and dumps it into the other city.
Oh,
and then you've got a noir approach where they start unraveling this murder mystery story. But they have to go through immigration and work with agents on the other side. It is absolutely genre bending of note. And I love it when they're with challenging stuff like that, challenging narratives and things like that. I love it.
Excellent. Oh, that sounds really cool. I'll definitely look into that book for sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's not knock off the last icebreaker question with Dr. Emmett Brown arrives in your driveway and says, "Great Scott! I need your help to confuse an archaeologist. What should I take back in time to bury in the past?" So what are you gonna take back and bury to confuse a modern day archaeologist?
I would send one of my kids' toys back, and if they can go place it like right there, but next to a dinosaur bone, that would be fantastic. Especially my boy, he loves dinosaurs. I would take one of his Spinosaurus dinosaurs and actually go find a Spinosaur bone and put it right next to it. Fantastic. I'm not sure it's going to actually keep that long, though. It'll probably disintegrate. Well, no, mind you, some of these Chinese toys have got immaculate lasting power. That plastics can go for years and years.
Yeah.
So hopefully there will be something left in a couple of billion years, and then we can actually keep the confusion together.
Yep, that's great. Like a real dinosaur and a toy dinosaur.
Love it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I like it.
That's beautiful. We've had a lot of good answers from that so far. But yeah, let's. It's been that long for anyone that's new. Let's dive into your writing journey. How you got into it. Me and Ryan like to say, what is your author origin story? How'd you start? How'd you get to where you are? Whether you want to include the 10-year gap or not.
Well, the 10 years were a blur. It's like white noise. If you take three kids coming at you at the same time, it blurs very quickly. But my writing journey was very easy. I was failing my languages at school. I was doing horrible at school. I'm not a school-going kid. I think if homeschooling was a thing back then, I would have been an entirely different person. I might even have been a little bit more with the a degree of like a PhD in some other
Mm.
chemistry or something. I might have been interested in that, but I think my rebellious nature, or I don't know, my stubbornness, maybe just my wife will attest for that. Um, I think I didn't do very good at school, and I was failing my languages, and I had this very bright teacher come to me and say, "Listen, okay, I can see this is not going to work. So think of it as earning points. Rather just write cool stories. You know, you're not going to study. You don't want to do better in school. So why don't you just write cool stories and get points that way in your essays?" Um, and I did it, and it worked, and I passed. So I thank God for all the teachers out there who sometimes come with such a simplistic way of reaching a kid and saying, "Look, man, just pull your finger out and do something, but let's do it in a way that it works for you." I think if it wasn't for that, I would never have become a writer. But anyway, so I enjoyed writing stories, and after that, it was fait accompli. It was going to be that way. I got stories bumbling up the whole time, and then first book came out in 2008, I think 2008, between 2008 and 2010, which was looking at the Cape Town drug scene. At the time, I was selling Kirby's from door to door, and the gang violence was quite bad already then. Um, and it was quite a you would be like doing a Kirby demo, and you would hear the gunshots in like a couple of houses down, and they would all be blasé about it. It's like, no, no, don't worry, that's a couple of houses down. And I'll be thinking, geez, that's close. So this little brush of gang violence sort of got me to understand what the motivation was behind it, and it was more often than not drugs was fueling the finances. We had the sort of like a movement called People Against Gangsterism and Drugs, who were taking on the drug dealers at the time. They successfully executed one of the brothers in like a vigilante style execution. They set him alight, shot him, and it was quite a
Wow.
gross thing that happened. This was in 99, 98. But so I was selling Kirby's at the time that this was all going down, and that prompted me to write the first book. My second book, King of Sorrow, was more property book, looking at the corruption in property industry. And then my wife and I, we got married in 2008, and we tried for 7 years to have kids, and it just wasn't on the cards for us.
Mm.
And then 7 years in, after me being probed and prodded in so many ways, and having all tests done, God bless urologists. I don't want to, or gynecologists. Not my job description at all. And yeah, eventually we there was a tense little operation that had to be done, and we found out what the problem was. It was a serious problem, and after an operation, we were finally able to have kids. And as with Shakespeare's missing years, if you were to search up Shakespeare's missing years,
Mm.
he hooked up with Anne Hathaway. They had 3 kids in quick succession. They lived in the farm country, like outskirts of England. This was at a time that England was documenting everything that was happening to everybody of note.
Wow.
Like you're a noteworthy person. We're gonna like keep tabs of where you are, what you're doing. And he was an up and coming playwright. And boom, he's gone. For like 7 years, he's gone. I now know why. Okay, he was having babies, and when the babies came, this big finger just presses pause on your life, especially your writing life. Your creativity just sort of pauses for a bit. So I took a 10-year break. In that 10 years, I did play around with the TV series. I did my master's degree. I finished that. And now I'm finally back after that long break with my third book. It's called Gray, Gray. So it's not it's the American spelling,
Yeah.
which actually refers to a measuring unit that they use in cancer treatment when you're having radiology, which people tend to miss. they, they think I misspelled the color. So that's my latest. And it also looks, this book deals very heavily about the consequences of crime on a community. Um, I don't know if you have seen a new movie out. It's called She Rides Shotgun.
No.
Stunning movie at the moment. I think it's on Prime. It, trying to remember what the lead actor's name is, but there's this kid in there that just steals the show completely. And the movie also looks at quite a lot at the consequences of crime on a community. So that's what Grey is all about. I did play around with it. There's a little bit of a they always say that when you're writing, you've got like one card to play, one unbelievable card that, no one, everyone's going to look at it, oh, that's crap. That'll never happen. So you've got that one card to play. In this one, the card that I'm playing is very much a Jobian type of card where your lead character loses everything in his life. He loses all his loved ones in a bizarre series of events. And then he gets this massive insurance payouts on all the lives because he was the family insurance salesman. I don't know if you have any insurance salesmen in your family or your friend groups. They normally eat you up first. Like, is your life insurance up to date? Like, let me come help you.
Yeah.
So I sort of played around with that idea. So he was the family's life insurance salesperson. Now everybody dies in his immediate circle, and he gets all this insurance payouts. And in the midst of all this payouts, he also discovers that this freak series of events are all tied to this gang war that's taking place under his nose that he was completely oblivious to. So now he has to choose revenge, not revenge. I mean, revenge is a very tricky thing. So what unravels is this Count of Monte Cristo versus Fight Club type of scenario. So yeah, that's what the book is in a nutshell. I think I was going. The idea of revenge for me was very much in ancient biblical times. Revenge was, having a court hearing and basically finding out who did what, and then, okay, you've got a witness that sees this. Okay, you're right. This person did kill your wife. Here's the rock. You may cast the first stone.
Yeah.
So revenge, I think, in the olden days was far more personal than what it is today. We've distanced ourselves from this process. So I wanted to bring a crisper, harsher reality to revenge, which is why the book's tagline is "Revenge is never black or white." And that's the book in a nutshell.
Great. Yeah,
Cool.
I like it.
I'll bring up the cover in a sec, but I'm just curious, like, because you had a big gap, did this idea for this story come towards the end of your 10-year gap, or was it something that was always with you beforehand?
Oh man, I always tell people when I do writing workshops, at any given moment I've got like 15 to 20 people in my mind, like they're all hanging there,
Yeah.
right? So we've I think every writer has got so many characters, and we see characters all the time. Like, I mean, we want to tell stories. So no, I think the character of Gray, I mean, his name is just Gray because he is this gray entity. He's always been there, and I've always sort of fostered him in some way. And I think while I was doing my degree, he really sort of like crept out of the woodwork, and he was like quite adamant. Look, you've got to write me now. I'm here and I'm hungry. I want to start, getting out into the world now. And he was a very complex character because I tried different writing techniques in putting it all together. So, I mean, the whole Rhodes University department went through the book a couple of times with me, and they all finished with loads of questions because, I mean, I really tried from an academic perspective. I challenged a lot of things. It's genre bending because I really enjoy challenging conventional narratives a lot. So it jumps across a couple of genres. I mean, this could be as much a Forrest Gump as it is a Fight Club, as it is a very tense sort of Taken. So, it could be so many different things depending on what you do with it. I mean, I read this Vineland's book a long time ago, which has now become the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio in. The book is something entirely different. It's a stunning book. and I think it's Paul Thomas Anderson that did the adaptation for this. He did something completely what I didn't imagine it like that at all, and that is normally the sign of a good book. It leaves so much for the reader to color in. Um, I tried my hand at something called surf fiction, which is this gray character, very much like Matrix. I mean, Neo arrives without any backstory, and he departs without any real sort of indication of where he's going. He comes and he's there for a little bit and he goes. So I think in that essence, surf fiction is a very interesting writing tool to explore. Um, and I tried to write a gray character, but it was very difficult because people had to invest in him. They had to buy into his character, and it wasn't very easy. I loved exploring him, and hopefully it's a fun read. That's what I was going for at the end of the day.
Awesome. I'll bring up the cover because I really do like this cover.
Yeah, it's on my TBR. I've bought it. I'm ready to dive into it. I really like the concept of just having this person pretty much lose everything, like lose all people in his life, and kind of in the one sort of, or over a span of a few, fantastic events, and then how they kind of get through that. And like you were saying, there's all it kind of ties into a gang war as well, and I like that idea of the situation. So I definitely picked it up once I read the synopsis for it. So I'm really looking forward to diving into it as well.
There was an article written now recently, and in that they brought real names um, of victims where something very similar happened. So what seems so far-fetched, I mean, everybody that has that sort of went through it in the academic space said, you're really testing the limits of what people will say can really happen. Like this guy is just like, how unlucky can someone really be? It's impossible to be that unlucky. Maybe Job had this massive losses. Okay, great, fantastic, but you're really pushing people's you're pushing the feasibility of it all here. And the funny thing is that the article that they wrote, they actually mention real people who died in gang violence, and it's so bizarre. In 1 year, this one family had 3 people die because of gang violence, 2 children and a wife. And freak instances, people were shooting outside, the bullet came through they had a wooden partitioning, it came through and it hit the kid in the head, dead. The other one, they were standing outside, 2 people started fighting, also gang turf war, and gun went off, boom, the daughter dies. And then the wife was also trapped in some other thing where there was a showdown between two of the gang members. So as far-fetched as it was, lo and behold, there is a very real version of what happened. So for them to sort of pin real names to it, I thought it was a bit harsh, but at the same time, it also gave it new meaning and a new dimension to Grey.
Yeah, definitely. I can see where you where that would give it that kind of feeling and sort of realism as well. And I really like what you've done with the cover. Now, is it something that you have? Did you do this yourself, or did you contract out someone to do it? Because I like how it's very simple. It literally just has the silhouette of a gentleman, walking through, a foggy area, I'm assuming, and that's all we have. That's all we see. So is it something that you came up with yourself, or did you contract someone out to do it?
Thank you. I really appreciate that you like the cover. I've had really good feedback on the cover. I wanted something that was so deceptively plain and simple, and I think it got through at the end of the day. I designed this myself. I mean, I've been in marketing now for about 25 years, so I took a stab at it, and I've always been sort of involved in the cover designs of my books in some way, shape, or form to contribute as to a color or something like that. And there are so many layers. I really enjoy layered writing, having communicating with people on different layers. I really appreciate that. It's like having music with a faster tone at the same time of a slower tone, or having a faster tone to a lyrics that might require more like uh, Murder by Numbers by the Police, which is this happy
Mm-hmm.
tune, but
Mm.
it's the song is not something that you would place with a happy tune.
Yeah.
So it's different layers, you know. Murder by Numbers, 1, 2, 3. It sounds like this happy tune. Meanwhile, it's not. So I like that duality or that multiplicity to it. So gray in this instance, as I've said, it refers to the unit that is used in radiotherapy, but also it is if someone has brain cancer, it's the color gray of the ribbon is also gray. So this character is also gray. He just arrives in this situation, and he has to make his way through it. And then also the grayness of taking revenge. You know, I mean, if I'm going to kill someone, you know, how's this going to happen? Am I going to be any different to the person that, you know, has hurt me? I mean, I'm basically walking down this road. I'm walking into the gray myself. So
Mm-hmm.
Gray reasons at some point to get a hitman, which in South Africa, if you know anything about South Africa, is not very difficult to do. It's also not very expensive. So he endeavors to get a hitman to sort of sort out his, to exact his revenge, you know, to sort of take matters into his own hands.
Mm.
And it turns out just the way it does not think it's going to turn out. So that all plays with the whole grayness of it. So yeah, coming back to the cover, I wanted something that sort of encapsulates all of these weirdness, all these multiple layers, and to sort of project it into a very plain and simple cover. And I hope it worked.
Oh no, it's
Yeah, definitely. Oh, it does 100%. Like I love covers that are very simplistic. And when I say simplistic, I'm not taking anything away from the design itself. It's just you're you're just putting on, you know, you're it's enough for me to want to go, okay, I want to read this book without having read the synopsis. And then if that gets me to read the synopsis, then I'm like, okay, I'm on board and I buy the book. I absolutely love covers that are simplistic, that, you know, are not like there's not something going on in every single corner of the cover. And for the story as you've described it, you don't need that. You know, the story inside the cover is what's going to tell that revenge story, and I really think that suits what you've explained about the story. So yeah, I love it.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
excellent.
Oh, definitely. And I love revenge stories. I love because what's that? There's a famous thing they say about revenge. You know, if you're I think it's like if you're setting out for revenge, dig two graves or something, you know, one for the person that you're going to
Yeah.
kill and then one for yourself, because it never goes as
Yeah.
planned. No matter how well you plan it out, something's always going to go wrong. And I think revenge stories are probably, you know, one of my favorite type of crime stories. So again, that's just ticked all the boxes for me. I can't wait to get into it. But I think you know, a really good revenge story when it's told well and when it's written well is definitely a winner in my books anyway.
Absolutely. I've read Count of Monte Cristo many years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just such a stunning book. I mean, the breadth of the characters in there. It's such a study of humanity. I mean, our decisions that we make sometimes, it's difficult to comprehend, you know, what we come up with. Um, And I think the ultimate challenge that I had for my character, and I mean, we can be so cruel as writers. We really expose our characters to the absolute sin of the world. We really we sometimes we play God. Like I mean,
Yeah.
if like that's why it's got a Jobian feel to it, because what I do to
Yeah.
this guy is horrible. I mean, I destroy his world in so many ways,
Yeah.
and then I just burn everything down, and then I just like urinate on the ashes, and then I keep on going at this guy, and like it's sort of I'm picking on him, and that's my job. I need to make. I think as a writer, we are offered the opportunity to sketch the very extreme of something or the
Yeah.
worst case scenario, which can either be seen as, hey guys, watch out, this is where we're heading, or it
Yeah.
can be as, look, if it gets to this, there are some possible solutions that we can look at.
Mm.
So I think, authors have, I mean, writing is something that is just so precious that you can offer people this opportunity to relook things. So, I mean, even in this instance, the very extreme of it is I give my lead character brain cancer. That's like, that's tickets for you. So
Mm.
what are you going to do now? Now you don't even have any reason to carry on, and you've lost everybody close to you, and you've got this ton of money.
Mm.
What are you going to do with it? And whose hand is at the wheel, who's the cause of all your misery. So you've got some decisions to make. What are you going to do? Are you going to break the cycle? Are you just going to stumble down the same cycle? So yes, I really, but I didn't want to go too philosophical with it.
Mm.
I want to posit ideas. I wanted to ask questions. I wanted people to just, mainly afterwards, I wanted people to just say, look, is my life insurance at least up to date?
Mm.
So um, I think, it was just, you can really go deep down and dirty into it. But I had this conversation with another writer the other day. We've come to a sad state at the moment where books that hold any acclaim are books that has got review lines like, "This book gutted me. It's the best
Yeah.
book ever." And I'm like, how the hell is it good if it guts you? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
is this is this what we've come to? The most depressing book of the year. Fantastic, needs all
Yeah.
the awards. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what happened to just having a fun book?
Yeah.
A book that keeps you guessing to the end. Um, I really I strove for a holiday read, a book that's fun and
Mm.
enjoyable. It creates some alarming scenarios or some questions, but it's not a depressing book. I mean, again,
Mm.
I come back to this movie, this She Rides Shotgun, with this stunning actress. How she did not get an Oscar nomination, I don't know. It is the best performance I've seen from a 10-year-old in all my life. And there's this closing scene where she just pulls you into this scenario where you are with her dancing. She's always wanted to be a dancer. Now she's lost everyone in her life as well. It's this horrible, horrible ending. And it's this beautiful, fantastic ending. And I'm trying to think that if I could write that and still get that feeling, but at the same time make it a fun, enjoyable reading experience, then I've ticked a lot of boxes along the way.
Sorry, my cat decided to join the podcast.
Oh,
Oh, there you go. And I just
oh,
looked up.
hello.
I just looked up the movie. It's got Taron Egerton.
Oh, yeah, Taron
Yes,
Egerton, he's good.
He's a brilliant
He's
as
actor.
really
a
good.
as an American ex-con, tattooed up to here, and um, really hectic history of violence there in his character. Like you can, the way he portrays it, brilliant acting. He portrays this history of violence, which is another stunning movie, A History of Violence, which is also a
Yep.
great movie. But
Mhm.
in this one, he portrays the very harsh reality of the consequences of the decisions that parents make. Now he's got an opportunity. He's come out of prison. He's got this opportunity to fix a wrong, and at great cost, at
Mm.
very great cost, he can fix a wrong. And in his blundering sort of way, he tries to fix it, but this kid that he has with him is absolutely stunning. Oh my goodness, I'm gonna like go into tears again. I was in tears at the end of the movie. I was absolutely blown away about how they illustrate the consequences that violence can have in a household, in a community, and yeah, it's just if I can invoke that type of thought, that would be
Yeah.
fantastic.
No, I'll definitely check it out. There's a lot of movies like that. I don't even know where it began with like the kind of like a father figure and got to protect the child kind of thing, because we had that with Logan, which is one of the best Marvel movies ever made. Um, there's a new again Hugh Jackman, the new Robin Hood movie coming out where he's like an
Yeah, yeah.
old Robin Hood, the death of Robin Hood,
The death of Robin Hood, yeah.
and it's him. That looks brilliant. Um, it's just
The Road.
the road.
Cormac
Yes,
McCarthy. I read the book, by the brilliant book,
yeah, I've
stunning
read
book.
that.
Viggo Mortensen, brilliant
Yeah,
role as well. Also, the father figure trying to
yeah.
make amends. Yeah, I think it's a good. I think there is a certainly in the last 20, 30 years following the wayward 70s. I think there's a big pull towards father figures having to just put your head on straight, man. Get
Yeah.
your head out your butt and just sort of do something. Um, but I mean, in this instance, I wrote a character without any kids. I mean, I struggled with that. I really
Mm.
was considering it, um, and it would have added a whole new dimension, like
Yeah.
having a child die or something like that. It would have been, oh man, it would have been, the strain would have been unbearable on any
Yeah.
character. Like I mean, I'm already doing so much to him. It would have been just too much. He would have snapped. And that's a different book.
Yeah.
That's a death wish type of book. So um, I think I purposely kept kids out of it, though I do try to illustrate the effect that it can have on kids
Hmm.
in some subtle way. I try to bring that in.
So do you think this is going to be a standalone, or are you going to do maybe pull out some of the characters from it and do another book, or is this just
So
it?
I did pitch this to my wife. She's a great sounding board because she doesn't take any of my crap. So I picture a story. She's like, it's not gonna work. I'm like, okay, all right. You're not even gonna open for any ideas? No. But in this instance, um, it would be very difficult. Look, it's already a far-fetched
Yeah.
scenario, and you've got a character with brain cancer that has metastasized. It is
Hmm.
interlobular, so it's
Yeah.
basically, it's the recovery from that is 0% so far. I mean, there was a kid the other day that survived this type of brain cancer, and they still don't understand how that happened. So it's a whole new space. It's a very strange space. So for
Hmm.
me to write that would be very hard to believe. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
already I'm already playing. I've already
Yeah.
got. I'm close to fable space already.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't want to push the boundaries. It would be a stunning comeback. Like I mean, this very unbiased, very gray character becoming a series character. It would be interesting. It would be very
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
I would first have to get over the whole obstacle of him coming back from that.
Yeah. It would be interesting. It's like, like I'm like counting down the you got this long left, and it just I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still. That'd be something interesting to play with.
So,
Um,
so that is true. I'm busy writing an article about a guy. It's an article I'm calling it the man who wouldn't die. So
oh wow.
it was about 27 when they told him he had cancer the first time. Subsequently, he's had, I think, 3 heart attacks, and he's had 3 different types of cancers. He's gone through divorces, business losses, and everything. And he's now 65, 66. He's also an avid runner. He's set up a lot of um, sort of recognizable achievements. I mean, in the writing world, it's proof that nothing is impossible. Anything can happen. So yes, there's always that tiny thread that I can pull. But I don't know. It would be interesting after you've read it, and you tell me, James, you've got to write this guy again. You know, maybe there's a chance. Yeah.
Prequel. No,
Prequel. No,
It'll
he's
be-
too boring. He's a boring guy. No, he's boring. He's
Do
boring
it.
as sin. Oh my goodness.
he can be mowing the
It'll
lawn
be an
and
office job.
yes, just him mowing the lawn and going to his chores. And...
I,
Novella.
A fish in a fish tank will be more exciting, I tell you.
Awesome. All right. So, well, what's next? What's your next project that you're planning to do?
My next book's already finished.
Wow.
It's a well, I mean, you've been busy too, right? So I'm nowhere close to busy where you are. Which I want to commend you on. Well done, eh? That's fantastic news. So the next one is set in Simonstown. It's a little fishing village in South Africa, a beautiful spot, and it's a old lady that's going back to sort of revisit her roots, but also to make peace with her past, to get closure with what happened in her life. And while she's there, she stumbles into this sort of weird love triangle between her um, uh, niece, yeah, and a love interest. So also the hint of violence is also subtly brought into play, and quickly goes through the paces, and it gets out of control. So yeah, but it's generally also a crime novel.
Sticking to the crime. Sticking to the crime.
Oh, but challenging narratives along the way, right?
No, that's right. That's right.
I've got to keep trying. I've got to keep trying. I love it when people challenge the norm. Ah, it's fantastic.
Well, we're going to do something very challenging and test your creativity skills on the spot with our
Oh boy.
game called. Everyone says that, and then they do really good. You know, so don't be brave. This is a new game.
It's the first time to get someone do something really bad. So
there is a first time. But the game is called Story Pitch. We basically there's a setting, genre, main character's profession, and a crazy addition, which is like throwing a spanner in the works. And then you'll give us a number between 1 and 12 for each category, and it will correlate to something that me and Ryan have on a graph. We'll give them to you,
okay.
And then you've got to pitch us a story with these things in the story. You don't have to go super in depth unless you want to, but but basically you got to give us a number between 1 and 12 for each of these categories. So when you're ready, give us your numbers.
Oh my goodness. So I will go with 1, 4, 8, and 12.
1, 4, 8, and 12. All right. Okay, so your setting is a space station.
One genre I
Yeah,
know very
and
little
your
about.
genre is your genre is thriller or a mystery. So it can be a thriller or a mystery.
Or incorporate both.
Okay, so I've got Event Horizon. I've got so many things coming out now. Okay.
All right, so your main character, of all things, is a paranormal investigator.
Okay.
And your crazy addition, which is something that must appear in the story, is dinosaurs. So you must have dinosaurs in the story.
Oh my
So-
goodness.
So you've got
Okay.
you got a thriller set on a space station. Your main character is a paranormal investigator, and you must include dinosaurs.
Okie dokes. That's yeah. So that's so I've got to pitch the story to you,
Yeah,
right?
just a general synopsis,
Um,
or we've had someone act it out before, but it's completely up to you. Keep it simple, keep it complicated, up to you.
Cool. So fantastic. So obviously there's been a lot of irregularities happening on the space station, and with a little bit 30 years, 40 years down the line, but there's been a lot of irregularities happening on the space station, and it has called for a joint government unit being formed where they send one individual over, which has proven to be effective as a paranormal investigator. Got this weird, freaky character akin to Johnny Depp's character in From
Okay.
Hell, where he would
Ooh.
have to basically spike up in order to connect with this gift that he has. And the things that they encounter on the space station would be a series of accidents, freak accidents that happen, and it can't be explained. And as he starts investigating it, he starts realizing that there is um, a couple of entities that is moving around that he's feeling presence of. And upon further investigation, he finds that what do you call that one? There is an organism that can live in space. Sorry, I was not given the benefit of research now.
Oh,
There's
that's all
only
right.
one organism that can live in space. Um,
Let me find it.
it's some other mite or something like that. So what he's picking up, the vibe that he's picking up is that it is like a mutated form of this
Tardigrade?
organism. Well,
Tardigrade?
sorry?
Is it called tardigrade?
Yes, there we go. Fantastic. You got it. Yeah.
Google.
My 8-year-old schooled me on this the other day. It's fantastic to be schooled by an 8-year-old. I love it. So what they pick up is that somewhere this organism was played around with in the same way. You know that the one character from Jurassic Park that would be um, mixing in different types of um, organisms
Yeah, yeah.
or animals traits, like they would have
Frog DNA.
cloaking
Yeah,
abilities or frog
yeah,
DNA or
yeah.
what. It's like I never said to build monsters. Okay, great,
Yeah.
same scene. So you have got this character that did this, and he somehow got dino DNA mixed up with this tardigrade. So, and it's got the ability to camouflage itself, and this is what's causing all the accidents, and it's getting way more out of control, and it builds up to this climactic finale where this thing is bent on destroying the entire space station. They're running, like, people are dying left, right, and center, and it's building up to this scene where they've got to cut off little sections, and it builds up to this very last, unit that is still available where they can hide in, and as this climactic showdown, what happens is the space station gets released and explodes there in the distance, and the hero gets away, but he's got to struggle to make it back to Earth. That type of scenario. So yes, I think that it might just be crazy enough to work.
Yeah,
See,
that's awesome.
like I said, everyone who thinks they can't do it does brilliantly, you know. So well done. But it's, it's not.
Just don't tell me that I copied exactly what the guy did in the previous podcast. That'll be killing me.
No. Well, it's all randomized, so it's like we do get a
Okay.
few overlaps and double ups. It's just I think people like to pick certain numbers, but I work around and I update the graph from time to time every 3 months or so. So that being said, there's a round two because we've got a second graph.
Oh, biscuits. Okay.
So you can give us the same numbers, or you can give us new numbers. It's up to you. It's a completely different graph we're going off.
Okay. Uh, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
5, 6, 7, 8. A pattern. I like a pattern. So we had
Path
this
of least
one.
resistance.
We had this one recently. It'll be interesting. Your setting.
Oh no.
Your setting is an old lady's high tea party.
High tea party. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yep.
An old lady.
And your genre is grim dark fantasy.
Oh my goodness.
How are you going to incorporate those two? Your main character. Wow, this is what we call fate. Sommelier. A sommelier.
Oh my goodness.
Is
There
it
we
you?
go. All
And your
right.
crazy addition, which is something that needs to appear, is you must have a heist.
A heist.
Hey, what?
A heist.
Heist.
A heist. Oh
You
my
gotta have a heist.
goodness.
A heist at an old lady's high tea party. Your main
All
character
right.
is is a sommelier, and it's got to be somehow a grim dark fantasy.
Okay, fantastic. So we had an old lady high tea event at an old age home, and while the ladies brought in a sommelier from a restaurant around the corner that they like to frequent, and they are planning to host a wine tasting event with this chap there. And while they are there, they are secretly discussing a heist that they are planning, these old ladies, because I mean, who would suspect them, right? No one would ever suspect these ladies doing a heist. So they're secretly planning this heist all the while as this guy is like explaining what he's going to do in his wine tasting event. And he sees what they're planning, but or what they're doing, that they communicating with little notes, and they are discussing, this wine is very good, but it's not as good as the one that is this way or this way. So they're using little lingo amongst themselves to discuss how they're going to do this heist. Sort of like they're being very cryptic about it. But what they don't understand about him is that um, he is a being from another planet, and he is there to um, basically understand the human race a little bit better.
Okay.
And he's not a very good guy either. So he's there, but he's not really there for what they think he's there. So he's snuck in under the radar as a sommelier, and while he's there, he's basically reading all their minds and seeing what they're doing. And he is planning to send them on a heist from hell, literally. So on the night of the heist, they're all good to go. They plan the whole thing. They go to the wine tasting, right, that they had planned. And they do the wine tasting that they had planned. And after that, they have got exactly like 20 minutes to do this heist at this jewelry store right next to the place where they did the wine tasting. And then he sets off and he plans this like long list of series of um, fantastical things that obstruct him from doing this heist. Um, Unfortunately, only one lady makes it out of it. That's all I can say. The rest is a bloody gory mess. But the one lady that makes it out, and she basically realizes why he's a sommelier is because dousing him with wine, the tannins in the wine slows him down. Um, that's a bit weak, but yeah, that's the best I can come up with.
I'll take
So
it.
she tosses him with wine,
Very,
and
very
she gets
good.
the upper hand.
Brilliant. See,
Right, yeah.
I,
So that's the old lady high tea threw me off, guys. Really
that's what we do. That's what we do. I
love it, love it.
Yeah. Um. Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. It's been a blast. Um. Why don't you tell all our listeners and viewers where they can follow you, where they can buy Grey, and stay up to date with what you're doing. The floor is yours.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I think I'm the easiest guy to follow. My social handles are at James Fouche Writes. Hopefully that remains in the present. Otherwise, that would be all she wrote. He wrote. Yeah, it's at James Fouche Writes. Um, and my book is available everywhere, I think. If you go into my website, it's jamesfouche.com. There are links to wherever my books are available. I love engaging with readers and writers of all shapes and sizes. I think we are entering a very interesting stage in the writing world, in the reading world, where I think everybody needs to support one another, the writing community. They really need to pay a lot of attention to what's going on right now. And we need to fight for the survival of writers,
Yeah.
and the creativeness of it all. I saw a post this morning of David Bowie back in the day where he was discussing the consequences of the internet. And one of the things that he says is that the way that content is going to come out is going to very much change, and that has happened a lot. Like, so I think right now it's important for the writing community and the reading community to take hands, do whatever you can. I mean, I'm hosting a silent book club thing at the 25th of Jan in the local community. So encouraging people to just get together and just to go sit somewhere under a tree and read. Money is currency in our house. When my kids read a book, I give them money. It's very easy. Read the book, tell me what it's about, get some money. For me, that's just, I love engaging with that community. So if anybody wants to follow and share and connect with me in that regard, if you want to send me free wine, I will gladly sample it. So yeah, that's I think that's me in a nutshell. I've got my first book is still pended for going into a movie production, that has stalled since the tariff hikes. So we're still waiting to see what happens there. Maybe in the future. I just hope people enjoy Grey. I love getting feedback on Grey. Yeah, that's me. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm so happy for what you guys are doing. It's just so good to connect with you.
Awesome. Well, you're welcome back anytime. Just don't make it 10 years. You know, don't let it be 10 years until the next book comes out. Keep them coming.
Well, everything is still slated for October this year. So if October happens as it should, then my fourth book should see the shelves back then, and then I can even maybe make a copy available for maybe one of your readers or something. I'm not sure. Have like a digital giveaway or something. I would be happy. I'd be very open to something like that. That would be fantastic. I love that.
Awesome. We'll definitely reconnect around then. So yeah, guys, I will leave all of James's details, links, and all that stuff down below in the show notes. Please check it out. Check out our sponsors: Rebecca Kearsells, Martin Kearns, our honorary sponsors, Janelle Schiecke and Alexander Robb. And until next time, keep supporting those indie authors, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
See you next time.
Thank you.